the goal of this call, by the time we log off in a little bit, we want to have added value into your lives. We want you to leave with information that is going to empower you and your family to better health, to great nutrition, to a better way of living. And for those of you that are meeting for the first time, my name is Drew McDermott, and I play the role of Vice President of Field Development for NeoLife Southern Africa. And we're going to talk about some nutrition and products tonight that have been in my family for, gosh, 49 years now. My 3 children are 3rd generation on the products and the nutrition that we're going to talk about. So they work. They really, really do. And before I hand over to Connie, just a little bit about NeoLife for the guests on the call. NeoLife, as a company, we have been in business for since 1958. So you do the math. I think that's about 64, 65 years now. We're currently operating and distributing nutrition in over 50 countries around the world. And as a NeoLife community globally, we are on a mission. What is our mission? Our mission is to make this world a healthier and happier place. And we want to end this trend of poor health. And it is a real growing trend of poor health. We're living in a world with more science, more technology, more pharmaceutical medication, yet disease and health issues are more prevalent today than ever before. And we truly believe that the Lord has given us amazing bodies. We're going to talk about some products tonight, which are exceptional, but the products are not the miracle. Your body is the miracle. But we kind of have lost our way over the last few decades, I guess. And we aren't giving our bodies the nutrition and the ingredients it needs to live a healthy, happy life. Our body is designed to repair itself, renew itself, protect itself, live with health and vitality. But we got to play our part. And we truly believe that we have the solution to that. And I know the nutrition world is a very, very busy space. A lot of confusion, a lot of misinformation, a lot of hype. We don't want to partake in any of that. We just want to cut through all that stuff and produce good whole food nutrition that is based on a few of our key factors. And I have a slide. I'm not even going to get into the slide. I'll talk through them. Our first philosophy when it comes to product is good whole food based nutrition. Nutrition that is based in nature, backed by science. We don't use any synthetic ingredients, artificial flavorants, preservatives. No, we are whole food. That means we take the nutrition and the nutrients from the food, the human food chain as nature intended. All of our nutrition, we were one of probably the first nutrition company on the planet to produce nutrition that was backed by independent science. So all of our nutrition is created and researched and developed by the doctors and scientists, world leaders in their various fields of study. Our nutrition is clinically proven through human clinical studies. Very important. We can prove its effectiveness. And as you saw in the video, full farm to table traceability. What does that mean? So from the very beginning, from the seed selection, we select the seeds that we want to use in our raw ingredients, to where those seeds are planted, the nutrition, the soil quality, where those seeds grow and the crops grow, to the harvesting of those crops and the quality of that raw ingredient, to the transportation and the storage of that raw ingredient, to the manufacturing from that raw ingredient into a nutritional product. We are in control of this entire process. We don't farm it out, and we are in control of the end process and the quality of the end product. So that's what we mean from farm to table. So guys, that's a little bit about our company, and we do everything from core nutrition to your day-to-day nutrition to specific targeted solutions. And tonight we are talking about a targeted solution. And our topic, Connie, am I right? Our topic is nutrition that will fuel your brain and your body. And so I'm going to hand over to somebody who is far more qualified than I am to talk about nutrition. She is a very special part of this NeoLife team and family. She plays the role of product manager for NeoLife Africa. She has her honors in dietetics. She is currently in the process of completing her master's in public health nutrition. She is a smart lady, and she articulates the beauty of nutrition and the benefits of nutrition so well. So Connie, good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Drew. And thank you for that lovely welcome. I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see?
Yes.
Okay.
All good.
Okay, good. So I'm so pleased to be joining the group today, Drew, and thank you for getting me so fired up. But welcome to all the distributors and our guests. And I'm always impressed with what NeoLife has to offer. And I have come to learn about the tremendous foresight that NeoLife has had over all these incredible decades. So my topic today is one I've heard that carries a lot of importance, which is our cognitive health. And I know we often joke about this and we say to ourselves, oh, if only I could remember, and then you can't really fill in the gap there, or I can't come up with that word, or I used to be able to add numbers in my head. But we all have all sorts of our own personal stories and about not being as sharp as we used to, maybe having a little bit of fog. Rather than focusing on chronic disease of the brain, such as Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, what I would like to do is to look at this and ways for optimizing our brain health, no matter what age we are. And we know through science that we can optimize the health of our brain, the way we think and the way we move numbers around. So the first thing is, let's take a look at how does our brain age during gestation and the first few years of life. You actually have neurons, which are brain cells that are growing rapidly. And this is why nutrition during pregnancy and after a child is born is so critical. You can influence the health of the brain and the cognitive skills for later in life. We have evidence about what pregnant women eat and the cognitive IQs of their offspring. During childhood, your brain is busy making neurons, keeping things going and getting bigger. In fact, this is why young children seem to have large heads. They have 95% of their adult brain weight by the age of 6, which is pretty amazing. And as we go through our teen years, which may seem like decades ago, the bottom line is teenagers or adolescents don't have the proper wiring in as yet. It's still developing. And again, nutrition is critical at this point. We start by pruning some of the neurons and refining them. And by the age of 22, so in your adult years, that's as good as it's going to get. So your top brain power is in your mid-20s. Then sadly enough, and this is part of aging, we start to see a decline. And this is a combination in your actual cognitive skills, such as memory, our ability to comprehend, in particular, reading and comprehension. And by your mid-40s, and I hope I'm not discouraging or depressing some of you, but by your mid-40s, you actually have measurable loss with memory, reading, comprehension, and so on. And of course, as this progresses over the number of decades, we see physiological changes that we can assess. And that speaks to the brain actually shrinking in volume. The brain cells start to die. And there are brain pathologies that can develop, such as dementia, that are characterized by these changes in our brain. What you get is some amyloid plaque buildup. And while some of the changes are structural components, but I'm not going to focus on brain disease today, I want to address throughout your lifespan to optimize how your brain works. And this is based on science and looking at exactly what it is you're eating. So to address the cognitive issue, we poke fun at ourselves, and I understand that. I'm certainly not in my mid-20s, and I know sometimes I can't find the word that I wanted to use, and I used to be able to stack up 10 different numbers and be able to add them up in my head. Well, this is showing you that the IQ levels of different type of skill markers, such as numeric ability, and what happens over time. And you can just see that the only thing really here is to look at the downward trend. So by the time you get to your mid-40s, we see that numeric ability, verbal memory, and recall spatial ability, all of those things start to decline. We want to address is, can we really optimize that? So a lot of us say that we're just not as sharp as we used to, and we use the word fog to describe that what we are feeling is not really clear, or we're not feeling alert. And this is an important feeling that we have, and we need to think about that. I can guarantee you that your diet makes a difference when it comes to cognitive health. Well, what I want to do is approach how can we slow brain aging? And we want to go through this as sort of which practices are good, better, and best. And I thought it would be an interesting way to do that. What should we all be doing in terms of dietary patterns, the kind of whole foods we should be eating, what essential nutrients are key, and of course, which NeoLife products can support this brain health? Then what's better for us to do? Can we really add to that and get some benefit, helping to slow this cognitive decline that's inevitable? And then finally, what might be best? There are some research studies looking at different herbs and compounds shown to further support brain health, such as to enhance the blood vessel flexibility that actually may enhance blood flow and improve your cognitive skills. So let's look at a diet pattern. And this is a picture of some beautiful foods. Just look at the rich colors that we get from the peppers and the greens, some of the spices and the seafood. And if you're like me, you have zeroed in on that glass of wine. Yes, that's there too, but notice not more than one. This is a picture of part of the Mediterranean diet, which has been studied for decades in Europe in the Mediterranean region, showing that certain food patterns, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and mostly fish as a protein source, and a little bit of wine on a routine basis, using olive oil and so on, has been associated with a variety of different health benefits. Or a better way to put it is by lowering the risk of chronic disease. And we typically hear that it reduces the risk of heart disease, which is true. So the DASH diet, which is the dietary approaches to stop hypertension, has to do with, yes, the Mediterranean diet, but even more fruits and vegetables. We know as individuals, we fell well short, not just in getting the 5 servings, but nowhere near the 10 servings that might be recommended. While research from a variety of different universities around the world, such as Israel and the United States, the Rush Medical Center has coined a phrase called the MIND diet, which is the Mediterranean DASH intervention for neurodegenerative delay. What this is saying is there is a dietary pattern very close to the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet that actually has been shown to delay the degenerative workings that go on as we age. And what's recently come about in this notion that there are certain food types like berries, as you see pictured here, colorful fruits and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, seafood rich in omega-3 fats. Not so long ago, at the Russian Medical Center based in Chicago, they actually identified that even in people without brain pathologies, and this is important, everyone, even without signs of losing brain volume or losing the ability to recall words, so that we can develop what we call cognitive resiliency by eating diets that are rich in antioxidant foods and anti-inflammatory foods. And this is being touted as being very important news. And I agree with them, it is. But let me say this first, is that Dr. First and the Scientific Advisory Board were well ahead of their time. I'm actually impressed and awed how products were developed, knowing that it isn't just about vitamin C or a single antioxidant, but instead it's the synergy of many different compounds. And Dr. First had the insight to this, and the Scientific Advisory Board has always kept what is occurring in nature and how this is backed by science, and that's really quite incredible. So now, let's take a look at specific foods. What can we do that's good? Well, for starters, the MIND diet, one that has berries in it and greens and all that we talked about earlier. But you know, from my experience in nutrition, even dealing with elite athletes that are probably better than most when it comes to eating what is required, and that most individuals can't seem to find the time, or they don't know how to prepare the foods, or they aren't as consistent in their practices. And I would encourage people generally, foremostly with diet, but I also look to products such as the ones that NeoLife has, as a way to get a foundation for antioxidants and other compounds that can impact brain health. Omega-3 is a very important throughout one's lifespan. Women who take it during pregnancy, children who get adequate omega-3s as they grow up have really developed better cognitive skills, as we know. And the higher omega-3 status is linked to less brain shrinkage as a person gets older. So let's just take a closer look briefly at a few things that have to do with supplementation. Since omega-3s serve as a component of brain cell membranes, we actually have seen that increase with getting more omega-3s in the diet as well as supplementation. This is one of those nutrients through working with people that I found we just don't get enough omega-3s that we need on a consistent basis. Omega-3s are also responsible for producing cellular mediators that improve your neuronal health or brain cell health. And finally, we're interested in how we minimize inflammation, therefore addressing the causes that lead to brain cell death. So in comes NeoLife's Omega-3 Salmon Oil Plus, an ingenious invention with 8 different omega-3s. Most omega-3 supplements look at 1 or 2, and this one is an array, getting the goodness from cold water fish. Salmon oil omega-3s, and this is critical newer research, that omega-3 supplementation is shown to significantly improve the cognitive function in the center of the brain, the hippocampus, where we know memory and many other cognitive roles are centered. So, well, what can we do better? What can we add to the salmon oil omega-3s to ensure we fill in our gaps? And that's exactly what Pro Vitality does. And the NeoLife tea actually addresses the polyphenol story, which I'll get to in a bit. So we know what Pro Vitality is. It's tRNN grain concentrate. It's the carotenoid complex. It's salmon oil plus and the vitamin and mineral complex. This is a remarkable combination that best fills the gaps that provides us with the nutrients that will help support many different aspects of our overall health, but in particular, looking at brain health. So those nutrients specifically play a role and have been shown to be associated with better cognitive function. What about NeoLife tea? Well, this is a product that has a proprietary blend of different teas, white tea, black tea, green tea. So there is recent research, in fact, that supports Mediterranean-rich diets rich in polyphenols that include an additional load or intake of green leafy vegetables has shown that it actually has slowed brain atrophy. What's that? Breaking down of the brain in individuals that don't show signs of having Alzheimer's. So these are not individuals with chronic brain disease, such as a form of dementia. What the research shows that this phenol-enriched diet, similar to what the NeoLife tea provides, has shown to lessen the atrophy or the wasting of the brain, and this can help long-term and cognitive health. Well, let's finish up with what's best. What can we literally do without putting frosting on it? What herbs and other compounds may play a role in mental acuity? Well, Coenzyme Q10 and Mind Enhancement Complex are 2 products that NeoLife and ingeniously, again, play right into the brain health story in many different ways. So CoQ10 is an antioxidant, and it works in all of your cells to help release the energy from foods and can act as an antioxidant as well. Well, you might say, well, yes, we make CoQ10, and that's very true. But guess what? Production starts to slow down as we get older. And I don't mean at age 100 is getting older. I mean in your 30s, 40s, and by age 50, we're making 50% of what we had earlier. So it is important to look to a source for it to get more in the diet. And this is a naturally sourced product with polyphenols. What are those again? Polyphenols are important compounds that act as antioxidants that help develop cognitive resiliency. And finally, are there some herbs? And we hear lots of people taking all sorts of things, even experimenting on their own. Well, the NeoLife Scientific Advisory Board found that herbs that have been used that science can back up. So we're looking at what is in nature and what does the science back up. And there are several herbs found in the mind enhancement complex and its synergistic blend. And we know ginkgo biloba, for example, helps the flexibility of blood flow. So the blood vessels into the brain, and has shown to improve mental clarity. Another herb that's in mind enhancement complex is the go-to cola, which is also has been shown with research to help with cognitive skills. And finally is red sage. The same with having also polyphenols and enriched antioxidant content to help optimize your mental performance. So rather than thinking of cognitive ability as, oh, I'll worry about that when I'm really old, is we want to look at how well we can nourish our children, our teenagers, our young adults, and ourselves as we go on in life to maximize cognitive health at any age. So I want to thank you so much, all of you, for your time. And let's look to the rest of the year with some clear thinking and focus. Thank you very much.
Connie, thank you so much. Wow, there's some great information there. You know, you're talking about NeoLife tea and mind enhancement. Now, I had no idea how those two products worked, but I don't travel anywhere without them. And I've just got back from a trip to Cape Town. There's my tea. There is my mind enhancement, and I use them. Okay, and I use it because for some reason I've always said to telling my wife, it gives me clarity of thought when I'm using the NeoLife tea and mind enhancement. If I've got to get up and talk to a room of people, or if I need to be on top of my game, I know those two products. Number one, the tea gives me sustained energy, incredible energy. But those two products together give me incredible clarity of thought, and now I know why. So thank you so much, Connie. So appreciate that. Look, there's so much information that we can talk about. There really is. And this has just been a great little insight into brain health. I found it fascinating how our brains degenerate over time. And I think brain degenerative diseases are one of the biggest concerns of people right now. And so we always say prevention is better than cure. Whether you're talking about your brain, whether you're talking about any health challenge, prevention is better than cure. And in this case, stay clever for longer. Get involved with nutrition sooner. You don't wait for that sledgehammer to hit you over the back of the head before you sit up and pay attention to what's going on in your body. Prevention is better than cure, especially when it comes to nutrition. And for the guests on the call, the message here is not, take nutrition, take supplements and eat junk, you're going to be okay. That's not the message. And I think Connie was very clear in that. The message here is eat as well as you possibly can. But we know it's not your fault, but we know because of your modern day diet, because of modern day food processing, there are these key gaps in our diet that we have to plug. So is supplementation necessary in today's world? And in my biased opinion, absolutely. I don't believe any family can go without supplementation. And here's the thing, there's so much confusion in the supplement market. Walk into any pharmacy or supermarket and you see those rows and rows of supplements. And people are confused. They know they've got to take a multivitamin. They might be looking at the supplements because they just they have no energy. They might have, they want to boost their immunity, whatever it is. They might want a kid's supplement. And they look at all these supplements and they end up buying either on price, what's in special, or what has the best marketing. Not necessarily buying the product that is going to do what they need it to do. And that is the goal of these talks, is we want to cut through that hype and the confusion. And for the guests on the call, we want to become your nutrition home. What does that mean? We want to become a place where you can get your questions answered. We want to be a place where you can find out what goes into the product. We can trace that product all the way back down, back to the seed selection and to the scientists that produced that product. And so whatever product you're using is going to do what you need it to do. So Connie, I just want to thank you. To the distributors on the call, thank you for joining us. There are 400 odd people on this call, not to mention the ones on Facebook, which is really, really encouraging. I really pray that this information, you can go and apply it to your life. For the guests on the call, thank you for your time. Thank you for your half an hour that you've given us. We really appreciate your time. And I'm going to suggest that you get onto the nutrition, whether it's for your brain or your general health. Everybody needs to be on nutrition every single day of their lives. And so reach out and get back to the person who got you onto this call. You can purchase the product directly from them, no problem. Or you can speak to them and they can help you link up to NeoLife so you can get your own NeoLife buying number. What does that mean? That means you can purchase these products online at a significant discounted price, and we deliver directly to your door, wherever you may be. So guys, I want to thank you for your time this evening. Connie, that's been awesome. To our distributors, we'll put this replay out tomorrow onto our groups, and we'll catch up with you all real soon. Good night.